work-life balance. Do you believe in it? What is your methodology for handling all the businesses that you're involved in, and of course, most importantly, your family?
Yeah, so it's interesting you asked that. This was a decision made, even before I got married, right? That I was going to be present husband, present father, right? And so, business became secondary to that. Is probably the easiest way to say that. So work-life balance is absolutely real. I mean, this past weekend I was at a volleyball tournament all weekend for my 14-year-old daughter, right? And so that's stuff that's important, right? And she's my third, but she's 14, right? In a couple of years, she's gone, right? And so it is a very limited amount of time that you have the ability to impress upon your children, your values and things like that, and what we believe, and how you feel is the best way for them to live, and things of that nature. But yeah, from a work-life balance perspective, though, I'm very blessed. My wife, who we've been married over 20 years now, consecutively, and so that's important.
Yeah, it's quite the caveat this day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And so what I would tell you is, early on when we were, deciding to build our family, it was important for her to be able to stay at home, right? Which I know is more traditional, but that's what she wanted to do, and I was all too happy to, help support her in that arena, because it was something that I greatly benefited from as well. And so, having that presence of mom and dad at home and at events and things like that, I think it leads to a better type of childhood for our kids, is really what it ended up being. So.
That's something that I feel very strongly about. I mean, traditional or not traditional, and also some people don't have the luxury of having not having a two-parent income household, right? But yeah, motherhood is the most important job in this world, right? To raise
it's absolutely needed for us to be a world, right?
Right. There's no substitute.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, for us, it was, and look, I mean, we were young when we started having children, so it was an adjustment of lifestyle. We decided, all right, we're not going to be able to live, a certain way that, a lot of our friends may be able to do. We'd rather live this way until we got to that point, and we put just a higher value on her being able to stay at home, because that's something she truly desired. If she wanted to work, that would have been different. She probably would have been working, and we would have found out another way to handle it, but it was something that she really wanted to do, and so it was obviously something that was very attractive to me for her to be able to do, and so we were able to build a family that way.
So I'm really grateful for my upbringing, and one life goal for me is to, in a way, pay it forward, but also selfishly codify my upbringing and my parenting that I experienced for my future generation. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of co-author a book with my dad, and basically just get down on paper everything from childhood that I thought was helpful, that I thought was the best lessons and things that I want to impart onto my children. So while we've got 2 minutes left, what are your highlights as far as things that, if you only had, 2 minutes to parent your kids, what would you say?
Yeah, for me, it's amazing too, because you hear showing up is 80% of the battle, right? It's amazing that if you just show up for your kids, right? It's literally 80% of the battle, because there was a study done not too long ago, and they brought in parents, right, that had kids, and they go, if you can go out to dinner with any person in the world, who would you go? And they asked the parents, and mom would be like Taylor Swift or somebody like that. They would say somebody like that, somebody famous that they would go out. They then brought their kids in and said, who would you go out to dinner with? They said, mom and dad. Anybody in the world, mom and dad. And they would go, or extended family. They would always want to be with family. And so there's a lesson there, right? To understand that you have greater influence by just showing up and being there, right, than you ever will realize. And so I got the benefit of coaching every t-ball and basketball and football and all the sports, soccer, whatever it was, for all the kids, right? And got to do that for a very long period of time, to the point where all my kids' friends know me as Coach. It's fun, right? And so they all know
Coach Dave.
That's right. They all know me as Coach, but they don't necessarily know that I'm in real estate or banking or anything of that nature. They just know that I'm there, right? And I'm willing to pour into them.